तर मंडळी आत्ताच आपण जे डॉक्युमेंट्स पाहिले ते मोर दॅन 100 इयर्स. तुम्हा सर्वांना आंबेडकर जयंतीच्या खूप 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 शुभेच्छा. हे पहा मंडळी, ही बिल्डिंग आहे लंडन स्कूल ऑफ इकॉनॉमिक्स अँड पॉलिटिक्स सायन्स LSE. नमस्कार मंडळी, सप्रेम जय भीम. आज आपण आलेलो आहोत लंडनमधील होल्बर्न या ठिकाणी. तर आज येथे LSE लंडन स्कूल ऑफ इकॉनॉमिक्स यांनी बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर यांच्या जयंतीनिमित्त त्यांच्या सन्मानार्थ एक प्रोग्राम आयोजित केलेला आहे आणि तोच आपण आज अटेंड करायला आलेलो आहोत. तर चला आता आपण व्हिडिओला सुरुवात करूया. तर मंडळी, आज आपण आलेलो आहोत LSE लंडन स्कूल ऑफ इकॉनॉमिक्स युनिव्हर्सिटीमध्ये. तर त्यांच्या लायब्ररीमध्ये बघा, आज डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर यांच्या सन्मानार्थ एक कार्यक्रम आयोजित केलेला आहे. तो कार्यक्रम त्यांच्या स्टुडंट फाईल ह्याच्यावरती आधारित असणार आहे. तर ह्यामध्ये पहा, तर ह्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी असं सांगितलेलं आहे की बाबासाहेब आंबेडकरांची सिग्नेचर्स आणि काही डॉक्युमेंट्स हे त्या एक्झिबिशनमध्ये दाखवणार आहे. तर तेच आज आपण पाहायला आलेलो आहोत. तर ही पहा, ही LSE लंडन स्कूल ऑफ इकॉनॉमिक्स लायब्ररी आहे. तर आता आपण आतमध्ये जाऊया. आता आपण आतमध्ये आलेलो आहोत.
So this is Ambedkar's PhD thesis, The Problem of the Rupee. You can see a handwritten dedication to his supervisor, which I can't read upside down, but it says, "As a token of sincere regards and gratitude from this pupil, the author." And so he wrote that 100 years ago. So that's his PhD thesis. And then when students come to study at LSE, they usually have a student file, which are all digital now, but this is Ambedkar's one. I've just taken a few things out from that file that I think are particularly interesting. So the first three are some of his application forms.
Of admission.
Yeah, so this first one is when he first came here in 1916 for the master's degree. So you can see he was living at Cromwell Road, which was an address where the India office organised for Indian students to get settled into London when they're about to come study. And his studies were eventually interrupted because of the terms of his scholarship, so he had to go back to India, and then he came back again to do his PhD, which is why we've got various application forms of his. And then next up is a handwritten letter from Ambedkar, which is inside the student file. It's quite a dull topic. He's just he's been subjected to university bureaucracy. He's not filled in a particular form at a particular correct date or something like that. So he's just writing to the secretary trying to get that resolved. Here's his attendance record. So when he was first here in 1916, you can see a list of some of the classes that he attended. So geography, political ideas, social revolution and social theory. It marks whether he was absent or present. That's because he was doing a lot of independent research rather than being taught. And then there's a reference from Columbia University. So before he came here, he already had a doctorate from Columbia. And this is a reference letter. So Columbia introducing Ambedkar to LSE. And then finally a letter from the librarian here in the 1970s, and they're just referencing the PhD thesis where they say that it was of revolutionary character, I believe, so it had to be resubmitted and revised before he got the doctorate. So that's everything that's in Ambedkar's student file. So I've been trying recently to see if there's any other trace of Ambedkar in the archives. So I started having a look at some other Indian students that had come to study here in the 1950s, just to see if Ambedkar is mentioned at all. So in particular, this is another student file of someone, Vital Kadam, and there's a photograph of him there from his application form. I was quite excited that inside that student file there's a letter from Ambedkar, so I think it's a previously unknown letter. Yeah. And this is from his role as chair of the People's Education Society.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So which document you said just now? You mentioned?
So this is the student file of a student called Vital Kadam, who studied here in the 1950s. Yeah.
The application form, just you said.
Yeah, so student files contain things like application forms, reports, letters with the secretary of the school, that kind of thing. And inside it is this letter from Ambedkar. And it seems that Ambedkar arranged for scholarships for Dalit students to spend a period of time studying abroad. So this letter is Ambedkar talking about this student, Vital Kadam, saying that he's got the scholarship and please get him into the LSE. So this shows evidence that Ambedkar didn't just come to LSE himself, he specifically arranged for other people to come here, which is quite an exciting...
encourage.
Yes. And this is just a handwritten letter from that student much later on in life, where he's working at a college and isn't particularly enjoying it, and it mentions that he was due to speak to Ambedkar to help resolve the issues that he was having at that college, but then Ambedkar had died, so that meeting never happened.
So this guy, he was Ambedkar's colleague?
He was a student. He was a student at the People's Education Society, and so Ambedkar arranged for him to come here. That's how it worked.
He helped him.
And then just finally here, the only other place Ambedkar turns up in our archives at the library, as far as I'm aware, are in the papers of George Lansbury. He was a Labour MP in the 1930s. He was a pacifist socialist who also fought for women's suffrage. And it seems he has quite a bit of correspondence from people in India campaigning to him about the Indian independence movement and making him aware of it, which he took an interest in. So there's a letter from Ambedkar that Ambedkar wrote to George Lansbury, where he encloses Ambedkar's roundtable report, which was co-authored. I've got their names listed there.
That's the roundtable report.
Yes, that's a roundtable report that Ambedkar co-authored. So he sent it to George Lansbury, the Labour MP, to sort of help raise the profile of what he was doing. There's also in the school a bust, a statue of Ambedkar, which was donated by FABO, the Federation of Ambedkarite Buddhist Organisations, in the 1970s. So once you're finished here, I'd suggest having a look at it if you've got time. It's over in the old building.
Yes. तर मंडळी आताच आपण डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकरांचे खूप सारे डॉक्युमेंट्स आपण पाहिले. हे पहा, मोर दॅन 100 इयर्स त्यांनी प्रिझर्व करून ठेवलेले आहेत. तर आपण पाहिले ते लायब्ररियन डॅनियल, त्यांनी आपल्याला खूप सारी माहिती पुरवलेली आहे. तर आता आपण जाऊया बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर यांच्या पुतळ्याचे दर्शन घेण्यासाठी. तोही इथेच LSE मध्ये त्यांनी ठेवलेला आहे. तर आता आपण तिकडे त्यांच्या दर्शनासाठी जाऊया. तर LSE मधील आंबेडकरांचा जो पुतळा आहे त्यांनी इथे लावलेला आहे, त्याच्या दर्शनासाठी आता आपण निघालेलो आहे. थँक्यू विशाली. तर म्हणजे लंडन स्कूल ऑफ इकॉनॉमिक्स ही युनिव्हर्सिटी जगामध्ये सर्वश्रेष्ठ युनिव्हर्सिटीपैकी एक आहे. तेथेच आंबेडकर 1921 साली शिक्षणासाठी आले होते. तर मंडळी, ज्यावेळेला आंबेडकर लंडनमध्ये शिक्षणासाठी आलेले होते त्यावेळेला 1921 ते 1923 ह्या काळामध्ये ते लंडन स्कूल ऑफ इकॉनॉमिक्समध्ये शिक्षणासाठी होते. तर ह्याच युनिव्हर्सिटीमधून त्यांनी MSc मास्टर ऑफ सायन्स आणि PhD डॉक्टर ऑफ सायन्स अशा पदव्या त्यांनी घेतलेल्या होत्या. तर मंडळी, आत्ताच आपण जे डॉक्युमेंट्स पाहिले ते मोर दॅन 100 इयर्स चे होते आणि हे सगळं पाहताना एक भारतीय म्हणून आणि एक भीमकन्या म्हणून मला फार फार अभिमान वाटतो आहे. तर मंडळी, आज आहे रविवार, तरीही युनिव्हर्सिटी बंद असताना सुद्धा यांनी पहा आपल्यासाठी युनिव्हर्सिटी ओपन केली होती. तर त्यांचे खूप खूप आभार. यांच्यामुळे आज आम्ही आंबेडकरांचं दर्शन घेऊ शकलो. थँक्यू सर. बाय बाय. तर मंडळी, मी जेव्हा इथे आंबेडकर एक्झिबिशन पाहण्यासाठी आलेले होते त्यावेळेला मी थोडेसे मित्र बनवलेले आहेत, तुम्ही पहा. तर ही आहे वृषाली कांबळे,
निखिल पटेल, विधान दिवकर.
तर आता आम्ही सर्वजण मिळून आंबेडकर हाऊसला निघालेलो आहोत. तिथे आम्ही जाऊन आंबेडकरांचे दर्शन घेणार आहोत. आज आहे आंबेडकरांची 133वी जयंती आणि आम्ही खूप खूप उत्साहित आहोत. लंडनमध्ये आम्ही काय करणार, तर आम्ही इथे आलेलो आहोत LSE लंडन स्कूल ऑफ इकॉनॉमिक्समध्ये, जिथे आंबेडकरांच्या जन्मदिनानिमित्त त्यांच्या सन्मानार्थ जो काही कार्यक्रम ठेवलेला होता तो आपण पाहिलेलाच आहे. जे लायब्ररीयन होते डॅनियल, त्यांनी सर्व आपल्याला सांगितलेले आहे. तर तुम्हालाही ते आवडेल, तर तुम्ही नक्की एन्जॉय करा.